Good morning, hockey fans. This is Steven Heisler with HeisHockey.com, the Victorious Hockey Company, and the absolutely amazing Junior Hockey Discussion Group on Facebook. You are watching the Junior Hockey Morning Show. We are on the World Sports Broadcasting Network. That's WSBN.TV, Facebook, X, YouTube. This morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are, whatever time you are watching or listening to the show, hope that you are having a great day in hockey. Before getting into today's subject matter, this article is on HeisHockey.com, which I moved from being a subscription-based site to being one that is free to access. Now, if you want to get instant access to get this article sent to you every day, subscribe still. I appreciate it. It definitely helps, but you don't have to. All right. Before getting into the show, we added a new character to the back wall. The Yorkton Terriers put their jersey on the wall today. Congratulations to Emery Olausson and the Yorkton Terriers of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, which leads me to a question I get quite a bit. How do I get my team brand on the wall? A, doesn't cost anything. Send me a jersey. What it really costs is you have to be proven to do things the right way. Every one of the teams on my wall behind me is guys that I know do things the right way. That's all there is to it. And then you have the USHL. They do things the right way. Glenn Heffron's a good guy. But if you want me to use your coffee cup, maybe wear a hat, sometimes I might even put a jersey on. Get a hold of Tomas, get our address, send us the stuff, and we'll feature it. As long as you are doing things the right way. If you are the owner or operator of the Minnesota Wilderness, don't bother. I'm not going to do anything with Dave Boyds, period. All right, moving on. Today's article, If I Were King. The North American Hockey League held their draft last week. It was interesting. There's been a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of people whining and crying. Why did that kid get drafted and I didn't? Let me explain something to the masses that will not be popular with a lot of North American Hockey League coaches, the administration, the leaders, whatever else you want to call it. But believe it or not, being drafted or tendered does absolutely nothing for you. There's no promise. There's no guarantee. The only guarantee or promise you have is that your opportunity within the league is limited to that single team. Now, if somebody else has interest in you and they don't, doesn't matter. Now your rights have to be traded to somebody else. Now, the coach can leave and go somewhere else. A new coach can come in, and that new coach may or may not like you. He didn't pick you. So what happens to your rights? They still belong to that team. Doesn't matter what happens. There's no guarantee. No guarantee you're going to advance past the you have to pay for main camp. That's all there is to it. So you go to the main camp. If you advance the training camp, so be it. Still, no guarantees. And your rights still belong to that team. Now, if you don't make it out of training camp and they drop you from the protected list, then you can go somewhere else. Otherwise, you can't. So there's that. The other part of the problem is that if you don't like the team that drafted you, maybe you got drafted by the Wilderness. You don't want to go there because you don't want to deal with Dave Boyds. I don't blame you. But guess what? There are no other options within the NAHL. You have to leave and go somewhere else. You can go to the 3HL. He can't stop you from doing that. You can go to Canada. He can't stop you from doing that. But the locks are in place. There you go. maybe another coach, another team that you wanted to go to. Now you can't even go to that camp. What if you paid for 3 or 4 different main camps and you got drafted? Now you can't even go to those 3 other camps. You have to go to the only camp you can go to is the one that you're drafted by. Can you get a refund? No guarantees. All right, there's that. So why do the leagues continue to do this? Why does the North American Hockey League, and really the USHL to some extent, they don't do it the same way, and definitely the 3HL, why do they insist upon doing this draft every year? One is, this is going to sound rude, that it creates parity within the league. That is what they say. But why are the same teams horrible year after year after year? Why is Kenai River every single year taking a nosedive second half of the year? Why is Corpus suffering year after year? Why does Danbury suffer year after year? What? Because they really refuse to do things the right way. And they literally chase players away. So when you chase players away, you don't want to play for you because your reputation is not very good. Players will seek other opportunities. That's all there is to it. So really what the league is doing by the draft, in many cases, is chasing kids to Canada, chasing kids to other opportunities. The 3HL draft is even worse. If you don't like the team drafted you, you can go to the USPHL, you can go to Canada, you can go to the EAHL, you can go anywhere else you want, but another NA3 team. And we've seen this time and time again. Maybe the plays for one team 1 year, didn't like the way it was operated, wants to play somewhere else, but that team doesn't want to trade him. So he goes somewhere else. And really what the league is doing, instead of letting the team itself really raise its own value by doing things the right way, they're limiting the team's ability to raise value because there's no incentive to do better. So maybe eliminate the lack of incentive and you get a better league, both at the NAHL level and the 3HL level. A number of years back, like a quarter century ago, a young man named Scott Gomez was drafted by Sioux City. Scott Gomez was an elite talent that was playing for East High School and the Alaska All-Stars up in Anchorage. Did not want to go to Sioux City. Would have preferred to go to Omaha with Mike Hastings, who was the coach at that time. Didn't work out. So we signed Scott to our team, the junior B team in Alaska, and the idea was play him a couple games and then trade him down to Hastings, who I didn't sit well with the leader of USA Hockey back then. He got kind of mad at me. You're interfering with our league process. That wasn't very nice of you. And really, you have no right to do that. Dave Tyler was less than impressed with my antics. Needless to say, Gomez did not play for Sioux City or Omaha that year. His distant choice was the BCHL, and he ended up with the Surrey Eagles instead. Had a pretty good season. Like they led the league in scoring. The next year, he was in Tri-City Americans and off to the NHL. Whose loss was that? Was it the USHL's loss? I think so as a league. Because when you don't let players naturally go to the teams they want to go to, yes, you create powerhouses, but it also creates incentive for the other teams to operate in the same manner as Omaha was operating that year, with the tradition of how Omaha was operating. Within the North American Hockey League, some teams operate at higher levels than the other. Fairbanks does a really good job. Janesville does a really good job. Aberdeen, Minot. These guys do a good job. Johnstown, Lone Star, Shreveport. Those are attractive teams. New Mexico. Those are attractive teams. Kids want to go there. The incentive for other teams to climb to that level is to do things the right way. Offer similar amenities. Give the kids something to want to come play for that team for. Look at, nobody in their right mind wants to go to Kenai River. And they don't want to go. If they get drafted by Kenai River, it's like, oh man, are you serious? I might have to pay to play in the free-to-play league. That's garbage. League. Frankenfeld, get your house in order. You took standards off the books for the 3HL and the NAHL. Put them back on. Don't be afraid, because somebody else is going to put the standards back on the books. Maybe the NCDC, maybe the Canadian leagues, and that is your competition. The BCHL has standards. They maintain them. Do a better job. Actually maintain standards instead of avoiding them or overlooking them. It's crazy. Same thing goes for the 3HL. There are good operators and there are bad operators. The bad ones is like a piece of poop in the punch bowl. They make the whole league not attractive. I like the 3HL. I believe it provides a superior possibility for a player that's close to being NAHL level to go there, develop, and move up, maybe even in season. You don't get much speed bumps in a way. Very little limitations between going from a 3HL team to the NAHL team. So it's easy. But you guys got to do better. Even the playing field. Get rid of the bad operators. Mid-City Stars are gone this year. Thank God. Hope they never come back. That was a dumpster fire. There are other dumpster fires. Do a better job. Tommy, how we doing on time? You doing good? Got 4 minutes left? Holy smokers. Unless I got to save my fat. Dun, 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 dun. Why do we do drafts? Why do we do tenders? Bottom line, pre-draft camps, combines is all about the money. So if you really want to go after the money, you want to maximize your brand, team by team, league by league, draft incoming rookies only. So for this year, that would have been 2008s. If you drafted nothing but 2008s, you would have done a lot better at your combines. You would have got more kids interested. Maybe do futures camps where now you're looking at 9s and 10s and even 11s. There are more of those kids out there that will come to your camp if they know they don't have to face 19 and 20-year-old ankle bumpers, 20 bombers. Don't worry about those guys. They're done. Focus on the youth guys, younger players, and you'll get more money, which is really what you're going after in the first place, and maybe actually make some of the effort, spend more time on developing players instead of drafting out of the USHL with a player you're trying to get because you think he might not go back to his USHL team. It's a crappy way of building a program. All right, that's it. We can do better. I know you guys. So let's get rid of drafts and tenders. Let teams just sign players as they want to and be done with it. Maybe a 35-man protected list with maybe out of 35, 15 players that are out on assignment, playing for AAA teams, 3HL teams, or anywhere else. That's a better deal. That's it for today. Hope that you enjoy your morning coffee. In my case, we got tea this morning. And have a great day in hockey.